looking at this essay question, how did the ancient Chinese adapt to their environment? But what we are going to do first is we're going to get the puzzle pieces together of how to write an introduction. Okay? So we're going to be writing the informative introduction. And like I said before, history introductions are different than maybe English introductions because you got to have all of the historical background. And the reason they are puzzle pieces, the reason they all look the same is because you can put them in any different order. It doesn't matter. Now I do have a few more that we'll add later, but right now we're using these three for what we're doing today. Okay, because we've talked about these before Christmas when we were writing other essays, but I want to get these figured out first. So, we're going to start here. Defining the topic or subject. Okay, when you're defining the topic or subject, especially in history, you need to give enough information that the person knows exactly what is going on. You need to give them the background knowledge. So underneath defining the topic and subject, write down that, and I want you to add the phrase background knowledge. So if you were just starting an essay about Chinese adapting to their environment, and the person had no idea what you're talking about, it's not going to be good. You have to have the background knowledge. You have to help the reader of your essay know what you're talking about. Now I know you say, well, you're reading our essay. Yes, but any person coming off the street should be able to read your essay and know exactly what you're talking about. So for background knowledge, somebody give me an example of some background knowledge based on what we've been talking about and how they're adapting to their environment. Who has a good sentence?
The rivers in China greatly influenced the way that the Chinese people lived.
Okay. The rivers in China greatly influence how people lived. Is this the only right answer? No. I mean, all of you could come up with your own answer. But I like to give you examples so that you know, oh, that's what they mean by background knowledge. Okay? Now, could he even be more specific? You could name the three rivers. What three rivers are we talking about? But we might save that part for the body of that paper. Okay? The next one, state the problem. What is the problem going to be? Okay? So if you look at this, how did the ancient Chinese adapt to their environment? What problem were we trying to solve? Owen?
The Yellow River had plenty of flooding.
Okay, so like adapting because of flooding. What's another reason we're going to have to adapt to our environment? The heat, the deserts, go the opposite way, the cold. So all of these are going to be ways that we have to adapt to our environment. So how could we state our problem? Who has an idea? Because this is a little longer section. Could be 2 to 3 sentences. So maybe you start, I'm not going to write this in a complete sentence, but maybe you talk about outer China and how they have, a brief thing. Outer China, what are the main problems in outer China? What landforms do we have? The mountains, we said the deserts, and the plains, okay? So maybe you talk about the problems with the deserts, mountains. Plains weren't as bad. And then you would go with China proper. And again, you would talk about the rivers and why, it was easier to adapt here. So you're writing some of these problems. Do you want to give all of your answers in the introduction?
No.
No. Otherwise, you'd stop at the introduction and be done. Okay? Now, identifying the problem. Okay? This is just giving a basic information. So you might say, ancient China was divided into 2 geographic regions. How can I spell today? Okay. Okay. So this is something you might say, something you're not going to say. Okay. If you want to write the not down too, you may. Not. Today I'm going to write about. Okay? We're not writing our essays like that. Today I'm going to tell you about. Or this paper today will be about. We're not doing that. Because just tell me what your paper is about. You don't need this. Just start with ancient China was divided. Now, I know I have these up here in this order. Does it really matter which order I write these? No. If you say, hey, you know what? I want to start with the problem today. You could start with the problem. Or maybe you want to start with identifying the topic. There is not one right answer. And I think sometimes we get stuck in the rut that, oh, it has to be that way. So if you picture, these are all the ingredients. You're putting it like in a salad, all mixing it together. Anyway, as long as it makes sense. You know, don't have it not make sense. You want it to make sense. So what we're going to do, I'm going to divide us into groups, and you guys are going to work on writing sample, like defining the topic or subject, sample stating the problems. So in your groups, you'll kind of brainstorm and write these sentences out. Then tomorrow, we'll have a whole bunch of defining the topic or subject. And you'll be like, oh, I want to use this one. Oh, and I want to use this one, and I want to use this one, and I'm going to put it in this order. So I'm going to help you write an introduction so that it's a strong introduction. And once you have a strong introduction, it's so easy to write the rest of your paper. Questions? Comments? Okay.